Hi, this is Cameron back again with another Vinyl Finds video. Once again, I've gone through the bargain bins at my favorite local record store, Into the Music, here in Winnipeg, Canada. And this time what I mostly found were different folk and roots-oriented records. They were all $1 a piece, except for one was $2, which is the very first one. And there was a couple of free albums that I got. Whenever you spend $5, you get one free album out of the bargain bin. So I added two to my purchase. To start off with, I have a southern rock band, Sealed. It's from Nashville from 1981, called Bandera. And the album is called Nights. So this got a really good review on the internet, so I'm looking forward to hearing it. If it lives up to the review that was given, it was said that it was an obscurity that deserved to be listened to or be heard by more people. So it's a bit on the hard rock side. Out of Nashville, the singer is originally from Texas. Someone by the last name of O'Ryan, I think Mike O'Ryan. Next up is a two-for album. So two different bands are sharing the one album. So the one band is called the Chicken Chokers, the other is called the Tompkins County Horseflies, who were later known as the Horseflies. And the album is called Old Time Music. So basically it's a fusion of old time style music with a bit of rock to form a real upbeat form of old time music. This album came out in 1985. Now, I had the chance to see Horseflies a couple of times at our local Winnipeg Folk Festival back in probably the late 80s. And I've got a couple of their albums on vinyl and maybe one or two on CD. And I enjoyed them. As I said, they're upbeat, roots-oriented music. Next one was one I knew nothing about at all. It's a Portuguese artist by the name of Marcio Evas, and the album's called Carnaval. I don't know anything much about this. I figured out that it came out in 1979. There was a different cover for the Portuguese edition, but for Canada and the United States, there was the cover that I'll show you right now. And I think it's called MPB music, which is the popular music of Brazil. So I think he's known for doing interpretations of Brazilian music. He's been around for over 50 years, but I really don't know a great deal about him. I did visit his website. So I mean, I saw a listing of all his different records, but I didn't get a real sense of the style of music. So I'll know that once I listen. Other than the fact that he's very well known in Portugal. So Marcio Evas. Okay. Next up is Prudence Johnson, the album Vocals, which came out in 1987. It's a mixture of folk and jazz from the United States. And originally she'd been part of a band called Rio Nido. This is her first solo album. Her name was familiar to me, so I'm not sure if I've seen her or at least seen her name listed at some of our previous folk fests here in Winnipeg. Next up, an artist that I think many of you know from Louisiana, fiddler, appeared in the 1971 movie Zachariah. So Doug Kershaw, the album Douglas James Kershaw from 1973. So these were all $1 a piece. I've seen Doug Kershaw albums occasionally priced at higher amounts here, but I wait to get it in good shape for $1. Okay, next up, this is a bluegrass album from 1980 by Kenny Kosak and Matt Glazer called Hasty Lonesome, and it's on, let me just see what label, Rounder Records. Basically, I pick up anything that I find that's on Rounder Records, Flying Fish, Red House, Stony Plain label, any of those better folk labels. I'll try just about anything. I know that they have good quality control on their artists, and they're often not well known, but they're very good quality, and you could often find them in the bargain bins for $1 each, so they're definitely worth taking a chance on. Here's another example of that kind of an artist, the Red Clay Ramblers, album Merchant's Lunch. This is U.S. folk from North Carolina, came out in 1977. Then another artist I have seen at our folk fest. He's now deceased. He did folk music. He was originally from Florida, so maybe Super West has heard of him. I know he played at the Florida folk festivals for many years. His name was Gamble Rogers. Sorry Is as Sorry Does, recorded live at the Woodstock Opera House, and this album came out in 1986. Supposedly he died as a hero, trying to save someone who was caught up in a surf off the coast of Florida, and he died trying to save this other gentleman. Next up is another artist I've seen at our Winnipeg Folk Festival, Trapezoid, and the album is called Cool the Day. It's U.S. folk from 1985. He originally started in the early 70s. And carried on until the late 90s, I believe. I certainly saw them in the late 80s or early 90s at our Folk Fest. Okay, an artist I've never heard of before, but it looked like an interesting cover. And it's on Highland Records, which is another good folk label. Artist is Joe Weed. The album's called Waltz of the Whippoorwill, and this is folk with a closer to the New Age sort of a sound. Came out in 1987. Another one that might interest Birds fans. This is the White Brothers featuring Clarence White. It's called The New Kentucky Colonels, live in Sweden in 1973. Came out in 1976. This is probably a reissue from the 80s. The White Brothers. And then a couple of free albums, as I said. When you spend $5 at this record store, you get to choose out of their free bin. And I got 2 free albums. One was Theodore Bickel, An Actor's Holiday, which originally came out in 1956 on Elektra. This edition seems to have come out in 1959. It's folk. And then another artist, I've got quite a number of his albums. This is Demi Roussos, Man of the World, from 1980, and of course he's well known as being originally an Aphrodite's Child. I know that Cost originally of sorry, Cost, just your website just blanked on me right now. Anyways, he showed We 5, which was an earlier version of Aphrodite's Child. So Demi Roussos, 1980, Man of the World. Hippie DJ Kit. That's the name of Costa's fantastic channel. Please check it out. If you like what you've seen, please leave your comments and please subscribe. Look forward to hearing from you and have a good day. Bye-bye.